All right. Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Voices of the Millennials. I am your host, Lyon, aka LV Lion, and I am so amped today because I not only get to introduce and interview two amazing artists that I actually will be performing alongside this Saturday. So that's my big announcement. I was so excited. I couldn't even tell you that there was an announcement. I just had to get it out there and let y'all know that my very first performance for 2024 is going to be at Unsanctioned 2. So you might have remembered that back in December, we introduced and interviewed Kamani Peter, and he is the founder of Loud Army, which is an organization that has put together an independent streaming music service for independent music artists right here in the GTA. Actually, anyone can join this service, but it was founded here in the GTA Greater Toronto area. So to everyone that's listening in over 135 countries around the world, welcome. We have an amazing episode for you and two amazing artists from that showcase and from that streaming platform. So at the end of this episode, please do me a favor and make sure that you check out loud.army, www.loud.army. So not .com, but .army. And you will find out more about this streaming platform and how you can support emerging artists just like myself and my two guests today. Okay. So what we're going to do is something that I love to do. We're going to ask these guests. So, first of all, I'm going to bring on the first guest. Okay. But before I bring on the first guest, I'm going to let you know a little bit about Roots Mafia. Roots Mafia began their musical journey at a young age, planted in musical theory, learning how to play drums, guitar, violin, and saxophone. We're going to find out more about that because that's an amazing amount of instruments to learn at such a young age. This artist gained most of their main influences from the environment that they grew up in, which was heavily inspired by music. Their grandfather, Doug Richardson, was a well-known and popular jazz musician in Toronto in the late 80s and 90s. And it's through these early teachings that gave Roots Mafia the intuition to recognize great music as a whole and begin to shape themselves and their own musical writing journey. And soon enough, Roots, along with his cousin, formed a group called Never Stop Believing in Yourself. Love that. We got to find out more about that. They started creating music together. And while doing this, they collaborated with a wide range of artists all across Toronto. And ever since then, they've been making big waves in the Toronto music scene. And like I said, I'm going to be performing alongside this artist. I'm very honored and humbled to introduce you all to Roots Mafia.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
What's good? How are you, family?
I'm very blessed. I'm very great. I'm grateful, thankful for having you, for letting me be here today. I'm very honored as well. I love the introduction. Your presence is great, and just can't wait for this opportunity to let everybody know more about myself and my career.
Okay. All right, here we go. Because I have a big opportunity for you right now, and that's for our guests to get to know you in about 1 minute. So, just a little bit about you. And like I said, we have two guests today. So, we're going to be, making sure that we use our time efficiently. Okay.
All right.
So, here we go. I'm going to
Yeah,
pull up these questions for you.
let's go. I got you.
Okay. So I know that you're a big writer. Don't know if you're a big reader, but so what I'm going to do is before I start, my bad. I just started right out there. I'm really excited today. I'm so amped. But we got to rein it in. So I'm going to say to you either this or that, and you, with no thinking involved, just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. All right.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. So, fiction or nonfiction books?
I would have to say nonfiction books.
Okay. A relaxing beach getaway or an adventurous mountain hike?
Mm, Relaxing beach getaway.
Okay, island boy, I get it. Do you like to cook your meals at home, or would you rather order takeout for dinner?
100% cook my foods at home.
I thought
Definitely.
you might say that, honestly. Roots man, that's what I was thinking. Like, you
Yep.
have to be a cook at home. All right. And on that note, microwave or stove?
Stove. Reheat.
Jeez.
Hot up the stove, you know.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Now, are you a team player or do you like to work independently?
I'm so much a team player, you know, that it does. Yeah, I'm a team player. Let me
All
just.
right, team player through and through.
Mhm.
Okay, and so are you a person that likes to go out and to a movie, or would you rather stay at home and binge?
Probably stay home and binge.
Stay at
Homebody.
home and binge.
Homebody.
Yes, okay, homebody in general. Okay, that knocks my next question out of the park, so we'll move on. All right. So, I have one more question that I could ask here. Oh, I'd love to know, are you a night owl or are you an early bird?
Well, I'm a bit of both. You know, I'm more of an early bird, but as of late, I've been doing a lot of night shifts. So I've been getting into the whole, staying up late and just freaking grinding it out. And during the day, I don't want to sleep because it's only so many hours in the day, only more so many days in the week. So, just got to balance it all. But definitely a bit of both.
I hear you. I hear you. All right, all right. And on that note, that was 1 minute with Roots Mafia. Hopefully, you got to know a little bit about this individual. Not only the music stuff, because we're gonna get into that, all about how you became this creative. I'm gonna say genius, because I heard you spit some bars and I was very impressed. So I'm gonna go all the way and say lyrical genius
Thank you.
is Roots Mafia. So we're gonna figure out exactly how you made it to that spot. But before we do that, we're going to bring our next guest in and we're all going to chat all together. We're going to chat all together. But we got KG, the Sav.
Yeah, what's good?
What's
Shout
up,
out everybody.
KG? How
Shout
are
out
you
Elle.
feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. Appreciate you guys for having me on. I'm excited.
Yes, we're excited to have you as well. And this gentleman that's underneath us right here, Roots
Yeah, it's my
Mafia. We're
brother.
all going to
Yeah,
perform
that's my
together
brother.
this Saturday,
Yeah.
unsanctioned too. Okay. Make sure you check out loud.army on everything so you could figure out exactly what we are doing. But
Mm-hmm.
now I want to tell you a little bit about my man KG. So KG is 28 years young. Yo, that's a big age. And this individual not only is an artist, but also works full time. And that's not an easy thing to do. So we're gonna find out more about how they do that. And I'm so excited because KG is from my hometown, Scarborough, Ontario, born and raised. Let's get it. And representing Toronto on the whole these days, but always repping the hometown set. So we're really appreciative that you came through and has been making music for the last 2 years and has released multiple singles. They are out now, and you can listen to some of them only on stream. So that's what we're here today to do, is to promote stream. It is how we all met. We're all on this streaming platform, and it's for independent music artists where the revenue streams are actually split 50-50. And if you don't know, revenue streams are not split that way on Spotify. So even if you have a million streams, you might still be taking home pennies on the dollar. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a revolutionary streaming service, and we're so glad to be a part of it. And that's how I actually met KG. And so we're gonna find out more about KG. Did I do good on there, KG?
Yeah,
Did I
respect. I
do
like
good on there?
that.
I let them know
It was
about
a
you.
good background, quick background check for them. Yeah,
All right.
nailed it.
Blessings. Okay. So I don't know if you got a chance to hear. I hope you didn't. But if you did, I have some questions for you. 1 minute with KG. We want everyone to know a little bit more about you behind the music. Okay. So these questions are just super random. Let me
Ready.
know without thinking your first, whatever comes to your mind.
All right,
Here we
for sure.
go. Here we go. Randomizer, randomizing. Here we go. We can't ask you the same questions. We need different questions. Okay, here we go. So now, when it comes to being physically active, are you a go to the gym person or do you rather have your own home routine?
A little bit of both. I can't lie. I stopped going to the gym when I started working construction, so a lot of my
Because work
days at
gives you,
work is tired, right? It's physical labor, so
I hear you on that. It's almost like you get to be at the gym while
at
you're at
work.
work.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yo, that's best of both worlds. I love that.
Yeah.
And for you, are you a like plan out your day meticulously, like type A personality, or are you more go with the flow? Whatever happens, I'm gonna deal with it.
Definitely plan my day out. I gotta know what's happening before when. I gotta plan it out. I don't want any surprises. I don't want to be caught off guard, So
Okay,
definitely
I was
plan
not
it out.
expecting that, but I like that though. I'm that way too. I
Very
like to plan, I
particular.
like to know. Okay. Are you an early riser or a night owl?
Early riser for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm, and would you rather spend a day in nature or navigating through the city?
Uh, my nature days are done. I'd say the city, especially being
Oh,
an artist. I
nature
gotta,
days are done. We gotta find
yeah.
out why.
Well, I'm an artist. I can't. There's no real fans in the wild, right? I need to be in the city. You need to be at the
Mm,
clubs, the bars, wherever the people like the music, right? So
that's okay.
definitely in
That
the
makes
city.
sense to me. That does make sense. It does make
Yeah.
sense. Okay. Movies or books?
Uh, I'd say movies for sure.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. All right. And when it comes to eating, are you like savory dishes or do you like the sweets?
I'm dead in the middle because when I eat a lot of sweets, I want to have the savory as well, right? So I'd say both, a little bit of both.
Okay.
Can't choose there.
A balanced youth out here. We like it. We like it.
Yeah.
All right. And if you were to go on vacation, would you rather go to an island or like a mountainous kind of like, like Banff, the Rockies, skiing and all that fun stuff?
No
Would you?
way. Definitely an island boy for sure. Gotta
Yes,
stick
I
to my
hear you.
roots, right? Shout out roots. You already know.
Jeez.
Yeah, lessons.
Okay, and my last question to you is when it comes to problem solving, do you use logic or intuition?
That's a good one. I'd say a lot of logic because it's like going with the flow kind of thing. I rather plan out things and not be unexpected, like not expecting anything. So like logic really is what I know and what I'm
Mhm.
expecting to say, not intuition, like what I feel, right? So definitely logic, I would say.
Okay, okay.
Hmm.
I love this. I love getting to know both of you, on that level because I learned some things that I definitely didn't know and some things that surprised me, things I assumed. But you know what
Hmm.
they say about assuming. So we're not going to make any assumptions. We are going to get right down into it. How we do it on this show, we love to talk about breakdowns, but also how do we transform those breakdowns into breakthroughs with the lessons that we learned from those experiences. Because to me, there's no regrets, there's only lessons or there are blessings, like in
Hmm.
any given experience. I'd love to know how you all feel about that statement: lessons and blessings, no regrets. How do you feel about that? We'll start out with KG and then we'll move on to Roots.
Definitely important saying in life because honestly, life is full of nothing but lessons, especially the age we're at. We're only getting older, only getting smarter. And to get smarter, you need to go through the lessons, right? And later on in life, after learning those lessons, you turn them into blessings. You know exactly how to navigate through life. You know what to expect, what not to expect, who to be, who you are, right? So it's definitely an important saying in life.
Absolutely. Love that. Love that. How do you feel about that one, Roots?
No, I definitely agree. Lessons are your blessings in terms of your experiences and what you go through in life, and it's how you take it. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own perception and their own experiences, so we're all blessed differently, and it's just a matter of accepting what you're going through. So definitely, it's important, to have a positive state of mind and don't always think that something that happens that's negative is going to be not a blessing, because everything happens for a reason in that chapter, right?
Mm.
Right. It's a stage.
Oh, I love that. It's all about how you take it. It really is. And in saying that, I'd love to know from both of you, This time we're going to start out with Roots. So KG, you have some time to think about this, but I would love to know, was there any one major like breakdown in your early like thoughts of becoming an artist or even in life that kind of put you on this path? Anything that happened that really broke you down, but you were able to transform that based on the lesson that you learned?
Yo, I could tell you many lessons,
What's your
many.
favorite story?
Um, all right, I'll keep it like 100. You know, I'll keep it a buck, and I'll let you guys know something that kind of is personal, but it's like it helps me realize the path that I want to choose and where I want to be, right, and where I'm going. So along a few years ago, maybe like 5 6 years ago, I was doing a performance, right, and I wasn't really on my healthy vibes. I wasn't eating too good, you know. I was maybe consuming my alcohol here and there, and I wasn't really taking care of myself, my body. But I still always had a passion for the music, always pursued my dreams, and tried to like, you know, try to balance everything out. But for some reason, you know, I wasn't feeling well that night. I ended up drinking, and you know, I was intoxicated. You know, I was on stage, and I wasn't able to perform properly. So it kind of even gave me a blow to the head, like falling off and not really, you know, being true to myself. So after looking back on those things and realizing, like, man, I might have made a fool out of myself. You know, I might have experienced something that I never really expected to happen to me, but I just kind of like shoved it off and be like, you know what, just keep doing your thing. Don't be scared. You know, overcome your fears, and at least that way you're able to progress and to produce all the worth that you have and all the passion in music. So for me, it's kind of like it was that point where I realized, you know, I have to fix up. You know, I have to be more determined. You know, better in the environment that I'm in, and just represent myself to who I really am. You know what I mean? So that's one of those experiences that I can laugh about. You know, and just be like, ha ha ha. You know, that's the old me. It's part of me, and now learning who I am and what I need to be in the future. Correct?
Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing that too. I recently read an article, or maybe it was on Instagram. That
Yeah.
seems to be the new article these days. Instagram is the new newspaper. So I was reading the IG newspaper, and Ari Lennox, she's, I don't know if you know this artist, but she's a pretty big artist now, but she was talking about the why she gave up alcohol, like
Yeah.
in her life, in her career, and she talked about the fact that there were so many times that she would be intoxicated, like off her A, you know,
Mhm.
and sometimes people would know, but it's like when you get in that industry, there's a lot of yes people. Sometimes people don't even know if that's all part of the act, you know, what you're doing up there on stage. But she just talked about like one time blacking out in missing her plane because she would just always just drink just like anytime she could, just
Yeah.
because it was always available to her, like being in the entertainment industry. And it's interesting because talked about the fact that now she can turn up better, like, you know what I mean?
Facts.
When she's not actually drunk or
Right.
intoxicated. Like,
Right.
you can show people, you know, a much better side of yourself when you're more in control of your actions, your body. Uh,
Correct.
yeah, so it's just interesting because our industry promotes so heavily, like, you know, get turned up, like keep drinking, keep
Yeah.
smoking, keep doing
Yeah.
this other drug, but
Exactly.
the artists who don't do those things are usually the ones who we actually enjoy listening
Yeah.
to because
No.
we can understand what they're talking about. So
100%. one hundred
yeah,
percent.
I really appreciate you sharing that. I would love to know, before we ask KG this question, did anything happen on that night that made you know, like, uh-oh, I didn't really give my best performance?
Yeah, definitely. You know, just not being aware. You know, not being in the right train of thought, and definitely knowing I can do better. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I am my number one critic, my worst enemy, my best friend, my number one fan, you know, fan in terms of like always trying to like do better, correct myself, and like sometimes you put a lot of pressure on yourself as an artist or even as a person, as an individual. But you have to understand like these lessons are blessings. It could have been worse. It could have been a different outcome. The results maybe would shatter my you know my passion forever. But you know at the end of the day, it's something's how you take it, and definitely there's a turning point. And a lot of things in life is like you have to you have to balance and accept like what's going on. So definitely appreciate the time for talking about that, you know. It's uplifting.
It's true, and laughing it off and getting right back up and still going. That's like honestly such a huge lesson in that. Because yeah, so many things can happen to make you feel horrible about yourself. And so yeah, I love that. Hope y'all were listening out there. That was a big gem drop. Now we're gonna listen to KG. What is a breakdown that happened early on in your career that helped you to get to where you are now? Like taught you a big lesson.
A music career or like anything, like even at work or something.
Even at work, yes.
I'll go on the work side of things because more people would relate, especially being in the construction field. A lot of things are involving safety, right? So a big lesson I learned in construction is definitely take your time, be patient, make sure you pay attention, right? Because there's little things that you need to understand before doing something or performing a task to be able to do it correctly and safely, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I operate machines. So I'd probably say one time I was in the machine, I was excavating, and there's a thing called a spotter where someone's on the ground and with the shovel looking for utilities. That way I don't hit them, right? So perfect example is the spotter I had, they weren't paying attention, stuff like that. And we hit a gas main and we started smelling gas and whatnot. So in that particular moment, it's hard to navigate around that because it's gas. It's anything can combust and explode.
Right.
So we're all caught off guard. We have to stop, shut down the site. It's probably about $60,000 to $70,000 worth of damage for a company when you hit a gas line. So it's definitely a big lesson there. It's like lessons can be expensive as well, right? So I would say for him to learn that and for me to learn that as well, because I should have been paying even more attention, knowing that he's not paying attention, right?
Yeah.
So with that correlating to music, little things like when I write a song, little words that I have to say or little meanings, I gotta make sure I pay attention to see like if it would relate to the people or not, right? I don't want it to come out as a negative message or a message that I don't really condone, right? So it's definitely important in the work industry and music industry to pay attention, right, to details always.
This is a big point. And I love the way that you correlated that to music and the way that you write, because yes, you can rhyme so many words with each other because they rhyme. But, to put more intention behind your lyricism, to understand that, oh, this is the audience I'm trying to attract. So these are the words I'm going to use because this is what's going to relate to them.
Exactly.
That is a lot about just exactly what you said, you paying attention to detail, and it translates in everywhere. And I love that term that you use, that it could be an expensive lesson. I learned that too, as well. And it made me think of this time when I learned an expensive lesson, a breakdown. I lost my key. Like this, I just bought my first car, like first brand new car. Like any other car I had before that was like, old hoopty, like busted. This is like brand new car. So you would think that because I'm spending so much money on that car that I would protect all the things that belong to it. But I went out to the gym and somehow lost the key to the car. Could not get into the car, had to ask my dad to like get the second key to come and like get me and open the door. The whole time, I was like much younger then, and he told me, he's just like, oh yeah, this is how you'll never lose your keys again, because this is a very expensive lesson, trust me. I went to the dealership to replace that key. It was like almost $1,000.
Wow.
That key.
Wow.
I didn't end up getting the second key. I just one key.
That's why they give you a spare.
Exactly. So everybody, please know that it's expensive to replace things when you just simply didn't pay attention. Like honestly, why did I lose the key? Just simply not paying attention to where I put it down, the last time I had it. And so imagine if I didn't have that spare. I would definitely be out 1,000. I don't have a secondary key. It bothers me all the time. Like people will ask me, like, "Oh yeah, can't you just get?" I'm like, "No, there's no spare." Okay, we have to call.
It's like me. I relate to that story. I only have one key now too.
Yes, like, and I bet there's a story behind it, all about not paying attention. So pay attention is the big lesson here, y'all. Big lesson. Okay, so would love to know about your early career. Like, how did both of you even decide that you wanted to be in music?
Well,
Roots first.
my dad always influenced me in music, that's for sure. You know, from when I was a child, learning about reggae music and going to meet like Ziggy Marley, Bob Marley's kids, and going on concerts. You know what I mean? He bought me my first pair of drums, and he played the guitar. And my mom's dad was a musician, so music is in my roots. You see me? That's why I put my name Roots Mafia, because the music is it's like a family. You know, it's a way of life, and just being educated on that note, always was interested in different types of music, you know, get rock and roll, country music, jazz music, you know, music in general, you know, the vibrations you get from music. Us speaking right now is the type of music, you know, the tones, the energy that's we're receiving and giving out. So I always want to have a great message. You know, that's what my job is. You know, to try bring people together. You know, as an artist, I feel musicians were very highly people. You know, all praises to the Most High. You know, depending on what you do with it, different types of music. But yeah, I'm trying to move on that path. You know, positive way.
Love it, love it.
Respect.
And just before we move on to KG, like you do play 4 different instruments, right, Root?
Well, that's the thing too. When I was in school, I was privileged enough to be in like music class and learn the clarinet one year, and the next year have a violin and just get to learn music theory, right? Like
Yeah.
treble clef, and know how to know different notes and different pauses, and just basically understanding that ideology of music is what made me break down music of what is real music, or what kind of music I enjoy and what kind of music I dislike, because this, gotta face it, there's all different types of music now. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
yeah. So for me, it's just like I'm more of I wouldn't say a classical kind of person, but I'm an old soul when it comes to music. And at least in a new generation, in a new wave, it's more like trying to adapt and bring things that are familiar and make them more similar to what's going on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
nothing's new under the sun. You know,
It's true, it's true. It's just the way we're presenting it that looks different. So
100%.
love that, love that. And what about for you, KG? How did you find your way into music?
Yeah, I agree with Roots. A lot of growing up and understanding the theory. Me myself, I played a lot of instruments. I
Mhm.
didn't tell you that, but that's something I've done. I played the flute. I've
Mhm.
played the recorder. Growing up in Jamaica, I played the steel pan, the trumpet. So I
Ooh.
actually performed in Caribbean a few times from the age of like 7 years old to like 10. I was
Oh,
like,
you've been at this.
yeah,
This is
that was a
okay.
background, mostly instruments, not like vocal arts, right?
Mhm.
So I always had a passion for it. I've always learned music as a kid. I've learned all these songs from word to word in the back of my brain. So it just made me decide to start making music, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of what Root said, kind of like my old soul coming out, but trying to fit in with the new generation kind of thing, right? So that's where my music comes in, with the trap rap, kind of like having fun with it, right?
Yeah.
But I do make conscious music too, so that people like my mother, family can like listen to it, you know? So I
Yeah.
try to like be fair to all my audience for sure. But
Same. My
it just
mom, yeah, definitely big influence for that one. She's just like,
yeah.
"Do you have anything that doesn't sound like someone's dying?"
Yeah, that's exactly it right there.
So I was like, "This one's for you, mom."
Yeah, no doubt.
But I would love to know, like, for both of you, you mentioned like early on you were influenced by music, like by your environment, your families. Around like what age did you know that I am going to be a performer? Like, what was the thing that, or do you remember your first performance, like in the type of art that you're doing now?
Most
And we can,
definitely.
yeah, we
Most
can go with
definitely.
it.
If it happened to me, like in school, I was always like, I wouldn't say popular, but like people gravitated towards my energy. I was very likable. I was sort of like a entertainer, you know, made people laugh. And from when I started writing music and like reciting it to my friends at recess, they would like it and enjoy it and say it's cool. So from then, I always knew like I'm gonna be able to be a superstar that I always am, that I've been around, and you know, like
Mm.
being motivated by my parents as well, you know, pushing me on spotlights and stuff like that. You know, it's just like it's a matter of like wanting to, you know, you have to want it rather than like and then just like ignore it. You know, don't reject your blessings. You don't stop your blessings. It's one thing I have to say as well.
Absolutely. And for you, KG, did it start in school, like after school? When did you know, like, I am going to be the rapper? I'm going to say stuff, getting off this pen.
I agree with Roots for sure in school because that's a big part of growing up, right? In school, it's social life. That's the key, right? Because to be an artist, you have to have a social life. You got to be able to stand in front of a crowd and an audience. I would say a lot of the times I've performed, like I said, at Caravan and stuff. But for the most part, it would be like this year recently coming up where I've actually done vocal performances like with my voice and stuff. So I would say definitely that part in my life is more important is school. But for the question, it'd definitely be recently.
Okay. And for you, KG, like, what was it that finally made you decide to, be the star on stage?
Talent is a very important thing because like yeah, you can force it, but you got to really have talent to be a superstar and be an artist, right? So growing up, you know that either you have talent or you don't have talent, right? It's not something that you can really learn, unfortunately. Like you can, but it'll just take longer, right? So to really be a superstar, you have to have talent. And the time I knew I had talent was writing music and being able to write music in bulk and get it all out very quickly and efficiently, right? So that's definitely how I recognize that.
Okay. And for you, KG, did you meet up with any individuals or like artists and start collabing, or were you writing like on your own and then you brought it out to the
Yeah,
community?
I started recording in my house with a friend of mine. So he had a interface, mic, and etc. So I was making music with him to start. It was kind of both. I was making music by myself. My first release single ever was by myself, obviously. So I would say he was a big part of that for sure. Collabing is always important because there's certain things that you can learn from each other.
And how did you learn how to make music? Like how to produce your own tracks, like to release it?
Uh, I would say through him. A lot of the times I'd sit down, watch him on the computer, making a beat or recording like us, and I'll just learn it. I learned it through Ableton, Pro Tools. Those are a couple of broadcasting apps we use, right? So
Yeah.
I'll just watch him pretty much. He taught me a lot of it.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
And for you, Roots, do you produce your own music? And how did you, if you do, how did you learn how to do that?
Well, like I said, like you were mentioned earlier, I used to make music with my cousin, right? And when we formed that group, he was on house arrest, so we ended up building a studio at home in the house, and we used a MacBook Pro. We had the Pro Tools. We rented a microphone from Lyon McQuaid. We basically just like kept busy, while I was on house arrest and stayed positive. And, we did our own videos sometimes from the iPhone, and we invited a lot of friends, a lot of artists from the city that still rap today. They used to come over to our house and we would just, make some tracks. And that's how I kind of learned the whole process. And now I just go to my top producer, my sound engineer, because he's amazing. And I don't want to juggle too much going on. I'm already with the community and giving back. And it's just like, yeah, can't pick up my juice business, Irie Roots, shout out Irie Roots Juice.
Yes.
Organic natural juices started in 2023. So I'm looking forward to see how that goes in this year and the following years to proceed as well.
I love that. And I love how, you transformed a situation that I think a lot of people, they break down in. Like you get a charge, you're on house arrest. Some people do not use that time wisely.
Right.
And I love how you and your cousin were able to transform that situation into a breakthrough. Like that's what really helped to launch your careers in this music industry. So
Definitely.
I hope people are listening, like,
Yeah, negative to a positive.
right? Like you think the worst things are happening actually, but it is. Oh, I think you said that, Roots, in the beginning. You're like, sometimes you don't that the thing that you are looking at as being like a regret or a horrible thing is actually a blessing in disguise.
It's another door opening, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely got to be optimistic about certain things in your life, and yeah.
It's true. It's like when the pandemic happened. I know some people, they were like, "Oh my God, this is horrible." But for me, I actually that's when I really started taking more time for my artistry. Like I had a lot more time to actually just sit down, write, like nobody's saying that I should be doing something better with my time finally.
Hmm.
And yeah, like UKG, I, you know, finally took a step into the limelight, like, and onto the stage. So yeah, just all about the perspective that you have on the things that happen to you and how you respond to it.
I
So
wanted to I
yeah.
wanted to add quick. Sorry to cut you off. I think COVID was a big key for a lot of artists because let's be realistic. The amount of artists we see now this day from the last 2-3 years has increased like dramatically
Yes,
because
like
of
my mom is an artist.
So it's good to see a lot of people connect and combine their talents into the same artistry. Right? It's pretty good.
I love it. I think that it's when I used to run track, I used to run relay,
Okay.
and I was told, like, whenever we would face a team that was slower than us or their times were known to be slower, we would be like, oh man, that's not good for us. Because when you run against the faster teams, you usually can improve your score. So the more people that we have like participating in this music industry, I think it just sharpens us all to be a little bit like better, a little more shinier. Like,
For sure.
we do a little more research before we put that music out there because we want to have like the most clever bars and all that stuff. So I like it. I like that there's more people in this game right now. And Roots, you said something earlier about like that you don't want to juggle, or now that you know how to produce your own music, but you will hand it off to somebody who really does this is their, you know, their bread and butter, their 9 to 5, an
Right.
engineer. And I would love to know from both of you, what are some things that you used to do like as an artist? Because I know we all kind of started out like, even right now, oh, you can't see it because my background, but I made my own little studio. Like, it's like I transformed my closet into a studio. So I'd love to know some things you used to do that, or maybe you're still doing them, but things that like emerging artists could probably take a page from your book on, like how to get started in this.
I'll go first because same thing as you. I had a studio in my closet. Like I said, I started with my friend in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely a thing I started with first. But now, like Roots, I'm in a good studio, good engineer. I'm actually in a couple different ones, still shopping around, looking for the right sound.
Mm-hmm.
But the closet was how I started, definitely.
Yes, yes. What about
Yeah, that's I hear that. I hear that. That's how we all mostly start, is like in the room or the closet, and then go to another studio. We used to go to a community center, called Loft Music, right by Ossington and Bloor, and they actually offered studio for, like, you know, people, the youth at least. And one thing I have to say to like upcoming artists or any artist that really enjoys doing what they're doing is, don't hold on to your music, because what happens is, like, over time you get discouraged, or you know, you don't come back to it. You know, you might record something and you don't put it out. Just put it out. You never know what's gonna happen. And those are one of my, not, I wouldn't say my regrets, but it's like one of my lessons and my blessings now that I've learned, because with my cousin, or even before, always making music, and it could be for fun, but they're good potential songs, and you know, you don't really always take it that serious, or you don't think it's that good, or you're questioning yourself. So just put it out, you know, see what happens. Not because that's the reason why you're making music too, is right for people or for yourself. You know, it's an art. People who paint, they don't always ask, "Oh, is this painting good?" You know, you think this one gonna like this? They just paint. Van Gogh didn't care. You know, Picasso doesn't care. They just paint. If you make music, just put it out. Don't hold it. That, you know, you're only holding back yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's how
that's
I
a
see.
big lesson.
Mhm.
And I would love to know for both of you, do you remember putting out your first track, and how was that experience like leading up to it, while you were in it? How was it after? Because I know there's people who are scared. Like for me, I was well, I just found it easier. Like if I jumped on someone else's track, let them put it out. Like, and then I don't have to worry about like, is it good or not? Like they'll have to hear all that stuff. But for you all, like, do you remember what was your first track like with your voice on it that went out to like a, you know, a streaming platform? It could be independent. And how did you feel about that, and what kept you going to continue?
I was super excited. Right off the bat, as soon as I made it, I was like, "Yeah, put it out, put it
Was
out."
it like your first song you made it and you're like, oh, putting
Yeah,
it out
the
now?
first song I made was by myself, and I put it out right away. I was never really nervous
Okay.
because that's how you grow, right? If people say it sucks, then just do better the next song. So I wasn't worried about any like critique or anything. That's really what I want. I want people to tell me what I need to work on or what they think about it. So right away, as soon as I made it, I put it out, mastered it, and yeah, it's probably 2 years ago.
I love that. That's big
2021.
energy. That's exactly what you were saying over there, Roots. How was your experience? Was it similar?
Yeah, definitely. It's just when I was making music, we didn't really have access to like Spotify. It was that never existed. DistroKid, like a lot of these platforms now that you can distribute your music, we didn't have that. We had YouTube, yes, but we were doing more things like mixtapes, or like even when I was like first year in high school, we would go to like a friend's house and record, and then when you have the song, you put it on your phone and you send it to people, and then like that song is just juggling through the schools, and everyone's playing your song, and they know your track, so yeah, you know you're the man on campus, whatever, you know. So those were the good times. And then like, yeah, you know, from then going to YouTube, putting out videos on YouTube for fun. And then now it's a whole new ball game, you know. You got DistroKid, you got TuneCore, all these different
United Masters, yeah.
Yeah, you got the middleman. I mean, you got
Stream. We have
yeah.
Stream.
Yeah,
Stream.
Stream. Thank you. Stream is the best one, actually.
It's
You
the
know what I
best
mean? 'Cause
one,
it
yo.
helps artists connect with each other, producers, engineers. You know, it just builds a community, a safe place to link up. Look what we're doing right now, and I'm sure we're gonna be doing more of this and other things to come. So definitely, it's a progress. You know, it's a blessing.
Sure.
I agree. I agree. And actually, even the event that we're all going to be performing in is another example of how Stream is being really a revolutionary in this game, because Spotify, I think maybe when they first started, they might have had meetups. I remember they did used to have something where artists could meet each other. I know they're worldwide and all of that stuff, but it's really interesting that Stream, out of all of these different platforms, is prioritizing the building that artist community. Like, and I do think it is so important, because I'm learning things from both of you that I didn't know I could do on the platform, or I get inspiration. Like the other day, KG made us all flyers. Like, even
Yeah.
though there was a flyer for the event, but then he's like, actually, I just made this flyer for myself. Like, I can make it for everybody. And then he made it for everyone. And I was just like, thank you. Like, that was so helpful. And now we're all promoting the show, and it's all for our benefit. So it just makes it a lot, as you were saying, safer. I think more
Teamwork. It's like teamwork as well. You know what I mean?
teamwork. Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
it feels like because this career and what we do is sometimes it's overwhelming, especially with our own personal life. You know, our mental health, our physical health, stress, and what goes on, anxiety. You know, and you know it's good to have people you can kind of talk to, or like have a lean on. You know, lean
Yeah.
on the shoulder and be like, yo, you know, get motivation, inspiration, and just feedback. You know, constructive criticism, like the owner of Stream has been, you know, like listening to my performance stuff and giving me feedback, and you know, and it's just like I like to hear feedback. I want to make myself the best person I can be, you know. I want to be better than who I was yesterday and so forth. And I feel like a lot of us here are on that same vibe, you know. We're the captain of our own ship.
Yes, yes. And I love that both of you, like, I think have dropped a really important fact or something to keep in mind, especially if you are an emerging anything. If you want to be good at anything, that feedback is such a crucial key to your success. Like, hearing how you've been doing and how people are receiving you is so important. And I will admit that for me, it was definitely the thing that I shied away from. Like, I'm a perfectionist. I just like to be good at it the first time. I don't want you to have to say anything that I could do better. But ever since I started opening myself up to that, that has made me become better, actually. So, like, there we go. You know, blessing in the lesson for that one right there. And I'd love to know, before, you know, we're getting closer to the end, I'm being more mindful of the time because I have a few more questions I want to ask. And I'd love to know if there's any piece of advice or an experience that you had that really like stuck with you today, and it's something that you would like to impart onto other emerging artists or emerging professionals in any industry. Like like, you know, something that it's like, yep, every time I remember that.
Keep going. Don't get overwhelmed. Sit down, think about it, take your time, but also do it efficiently, right? But yeah, just don't get overwhelmed. Just keep at your craft. You're gonna get there someday. Either way, Like, if it's a long way, the short way, just stick to it. Just be consistent. Take your time with it and just learn about it the best you can, right? So that when you do get better, you know why you gotten better. So you can reflect on it and do what I'm doing right now, share it with other artists coming up, right? So definitely.
Yes, and as well, do your research.
Mm-hmm.
Um, definitely, like you said, keep going. Never stop being yourself. Never stop believing in you. Do what you like to do best. Love your craft, and also just yeah, be yourself and have fun. The most important thing is have fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to be so tense, overwhelmed, like you said, and you're doing it for yourself, and it makes you feel better. So just we have that connection with your heart, your soul, and everything will manifest in the right way, or will manifest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Leave a legacy for sure. Yep.
Definitely.
And a question that I have on that note, actually, about leaving a legacy is really, what do you hope to do with your music? Like, we've heard about, how you started, how it's going right now, but I'd love to know, what are your future plans? What are some places that, obviously we're all going to perform together on Saturday at Unsanctioned, to everybody who's listening. But other than that, what's up for you in 2024 and beyond? Like, where do you really hope that your message gets to? And is music the thing? Like, is that the only thing, or is there more for you? We could start out with Roots.
What's happening? 2024, definitely. I gonna have expectations on myself and my career to be putting out as much music as possible, living up to my own dreams, chasing them, but still being aware of the elements and just the reality that some things don't happen overnight. It's a process, and and achieving your goals. Sometimes you have short-term goals, and then when you get that, you want to get your long-term goals. So definitely having the realization and separating the two, and just remembering, like, it's a cycle. You're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. There's gonna be ups and downs, and just to have faith. Um, I'm not a religious person, but I feel like love is the key, and I am very spiritual, so that's why I'm in tune with my roots. I'm very grounded, so yeah, definitely just know who you are and be yourself. You know what I mean? 2024, you're gonna see a lot of me being me, and the future
Mm,
going on forward, definitely.
love
Mm-hmm.
it. Me being
Preach.
me. I like it. What about you, KG? What's up next?
Big year 2024. My manager, Team 247, we call it 2024/7. So we're
Mhm.
gonna take over the year for sure. I got a lot of performances coming up. So I'm sanctioned this Saturday. I do a show every Friday actually, with my event planner. So I just try to keep my name out as much as I can. I definitely get my name out there globally, not just locally. And yeah, ultimate goal is definitely to leave a good message behind everything. Even if I don't blow up, get famous, make a lot of money, I'm still having fun, like Root said, and I'm still leaving a legacy, right? So that's my ultimate goal, is leave a legacy, let people remember who I am, what I did, even if it's at work or within the music, right? So
Mhm.
definitely.
I love it. I love it. And Roots, you mentioned that you also have a business that you recently started, a juice company. And so, do you have any plans, like, for, with your entrepreneur journey?
Yes, I'm collaborating with a few local stores, like restaurants and barbershops. Some of them are black owned, and we are going to be working together in terms of spreading the awareness of health and wellness. That is definitely an approach that I want to incorporate with my music, and my whole campaign is just letting people know to stay hydrated, or to eat healthy, and to be mindful of a lot of the toxicity and the poisons that are around in the earth or the city. And you know definitely I am going to push that. Hustling as hard as possible right now, working like 2 3 jobs. It's just the grind right now, and it's a great feeling to pursue your passion and to work for it, then have it handed to you. Because if it's so easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Sometimes it's like, it's better to have that motivation and that drive, and that faith, the willness.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that, especially, yeah. How bad do you really want it? You know, that's what anytime things get hard, I just hear this voice in my head that says, like, how bad do you want it? And I feel like that's the universe asking me, like, did you really think it was gonna be this easy to get everything you wanted? Like, so how bad do you really want it? Like, because
Yeah.
we're gonna make it a little harder every time for you to level up. So,
Oh, for sure.
you know, get ready.
That's what it
Facts.
is.
So I love that. I love that. And I'm gonna put you all on the spot. One of my mentors told me, like, a big artist that I really love. His name is Toby. He comes from
I know
Hills from
Sophie.
Graham. You know him, right?
I've heard of him. Actually, I used to work with I think his producer Nate Smith.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, shout out! They're about
me
to
and
go back
Nate
on
and
tour
Pooch
right
go
now.
way back. So he knows NSB. He knows where we at. He's been in
Okay.
the house in the bedroom studio with us while we were recording it.
Let's go. Yes, and Nate's actually from Scarborough. Toby's
Yeah,
from Brampton, but you know they connected, and they're going back on tour actually together. They want to
yeah,
do it
I saw that.
together.
I
Like,
seen that.
right? They're doing big things in the city. And so I'm so glad that, you know, I said his name out loud, but he said this thing to me. I had the chance to interview him after, like, seeing him perform all these different things. And he said that a phrase or an affirmation, a quote that really helps him get by is to stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Mhm.
That's what really has propelled him to the level that he's at, that he's always ready for these opportunities. And that's luck, when, you know, preparation meets opportunity. So people think it's lucky that he's where he's at, but he works really hard, and he stays ready. So I hope that y'all are ready for this. I would love to end off this interview with now this would be what you think is like your most prolific bar, or maybe a bar that you want to just leave because this is a new bar you've been working on. But I would love for you to just spit a little 1-2, and show the people a little bit of what they might hear when they come out to Unsanctioned 2 this Saturday. Who
Uh,
wants to go first?
I'll go first. I got a nice catchy one. I love my jewelry and stuff, so I have a bar. It goes, diamonds icy like it's hockey, but I'm too shisty. I won't stop grinding till I sell a trillion music copies. So a trillion music copies is my goal, right?
Yeah.
It's a very high bar to set, but that's the ultimate goal, to sell a trillion music copies. So yeah,
Let's get
that's
it.
definitely one of my bars.
Forget a milli, we need a trilly.
Yeah.
That would be nice. This one is from a track I did called "Find Your Dreams."
Oh, I like that one. I put it on our thing today, actually. Love it.
Respect. Yeah, funny story is I did it a long time ago with my cousin, and then like I said, we lost the song. You know, we never released it, so it was one of those tracks that held on to me that I wanted just to redo it. You know, and shout out Johnny, shout out my cousin. I know he was upset I didn't leave him on the second verse, but it's all good. You know, he's got
That's why you gotta release your music when you do it, y'all. That's like, that's the reason. You could lose it.
Yeah.
So it goes like, who do you believe in while fighting your demons? Stuck in the deep end, alone with your feelings. I'm trying to find my dreams come true. Not everything is what it seems. I warn you. Not everything is what it seems. Me warn you. Depending what the weather brings will change your point of view. I'm all about the better things, and you should be too. You know what I mean? That positive mind, affirmations, and yeah, stay ready so you don't got to get ready. Big up.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Blessings and peace to everyone. Thank you both so much for dropping gems, dropping bars, and letting us know how you can transform breakdowns into breakthroughs in this industry. It's not easy, but there are some ways that you can make this happen. So make sure you come out to the show if you are in Toronto at Cafe 106 in Toronto. We will be there, us three, alongside an amazing lineup of artists that you can only listen to on, well, you can listen to some stuff on other platforms, but you should only listen to us on stream. And you can find out all about it on loud.army, not .com, loud.army. All right. So Unsanctioned 2, we will be there. But for right now, we're heading out. We're leaving.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Shout out to Love Bay.
Yes, shout out to Love Bay Online Music Talk Radio. Let's go. Voices of the Millennials. We'll be back next week, next Wednesday, 7 p.m. with another elevated conversation. Peace and love.
Ciao.